Welcome to Sharper Square, presented by Hard Rock Bet. We are part of the Volume Podcast Network. This is the betting show that makes the squares sharper and makes the wise guys pay attention. I am Chad Millman. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, my BFF, my companion, my compadre, professional bettor Simon Hunter. Hello, Simon.
Chad, how we doing?
My brother. Listen, you sound so much better than you did when I spoke to you yesterday at like 5 in the afternoon, when it may have been the first time you were sleeping in about 48 hours. Great first week. Great first week working with our friends at the Volume, who just crushed our launch across audio, video, social. Great first week with listeners and watchers, old and new. Simon, we're generally a top 10 sports podcast right now, which is insane. Great first week. Betting went 4-1 in our contest plays. Overall, winning week for both of us across the board. I think with the one, I got some criticism. I got some feedback, which is a gift and we like it. So we do need to do a better job of letting people know how to find those picks and being clear of what they are. So here's how it's going to go. I know we had some confusion this past week, part of the kinks that we're working out and sort of the crazy transition onto the Volume. But we will give our final 5 picks in our Sunday morning show. That is where you can get them. You're going to be able to get that on YouTube. You're going to be able to get that in your audio feeds. It's posted in the morning with plenty of time to listen or watch and get what those final 5 picks are. The contest we are playing in locks lines on Wednesdays. So we are going to be playing off of those lines. Some confusion. How did we get Baltimore plus 1.5 in the contest when the game closed -1? But the contest we play in, lines lock on Wednesday. If we make a Thursday night selection, we will let people know on the Thursday show, on the Sunday show. That we will let people know via social. Sorry for the confusion. All right, Simon, you won the Sharper Square segment. Forgot, I think you had Tennessee. I had Miami, which we will get to. We won brass balls. And Simon says we lost Chad Loves Love. We lost Rock in a Hard Place. Brutal beat with the Ravens. Survivor, we had Denver, who definitely made us earn it. Don't forget, you can get the show Sharper Square on YouTube. Go subscribe, like the video. While you're at it, you can also subscribe to Sharper Square on Apple Pod, Spotify, etc. All right, this is our Tuesday show. We're going to review the entire slate. Let's get after it. Thursday night football. Washington at Green Bay. Green Bay, 3.5-point favorite. Look, Packers were pretty awesome against the Lions last week. There are always two stories to this, right? The Lions were not effective offensively. Part of that was their own undoing. Part of that was the Packers' pressure. Micah Parsons only played half the snaps. I think he played 29 of the 65 snaps. He had a sack and 3 pressures, including one that led to an interception. Simon, you nailed the Commanders' analysis against the Giants. Jaden Daniels would be able to neutralize their pressure, but he was generally mediocre. So, what are your thoughts here right now? I don't have a strong opinion on this. I'd probably lean Packers just because home teams have a little bit of an advantage in the short week on Thursday night historically.
Yeah, that's how I look at this one. It's like I actually really like the Packers, and it's just because they're at home. Short week for Washington, and I think we're both on the same page. Our fear with the Packers is, are we not overvaluing them at this point? Where it's
of course we are.
You know, they had probably, until Josh Allen's game, the biggest win, in my opinion, of that Sunday, where it's like, that was impressive, right? Because they didn't play, in my opinion, that great. They were just that dominant, though, that even on the day they didn't have their A game, offensively or defensively, they pretty much did whatever they wanted on both sides of the ball. So, this is really about the line. Hard Rock right now is, in New Jersey, it's -3, -120 on Green Bay. I'll take that value because, like Chad said, it's the home team. Like we love dogs here, but on Thursday night, I do adjust to it. I do like taking the favorites, and I do like taking my key numbers. So if you're someone out there and you're like, well, I want to take Washington at 3.5, Yeah, there's shop around. There's 3.5s out there. Hard Rock might go back to 3.5. I get your position, right? It's Daniels as a dog greater than 3. It's been pretty profitable in his young career at that number, but I just think this Green Bay team, if they can just keep it rolling, they're just such a better team altogether than Washington, right? Washington, it's really questionable about their offensive line. As good as they were in some aspects last week against the Giants, they have some young guys up front and some new faces on their offensive line. And you did see Daniels moved out of the pocket a lot and, struggle moving the ball downfield. So, yeah, Chad, I'm right there with you. If we're going Green Bay here, I'd take the 3. I don't think this will be in our contest. I'm assuming this will be 3.5 in the contest.
Here's what was interesting to me about the Commanders, because I did a little bit of deep dive on this game yesterday. Like, they weren't awesome. Jaden Daniels wasn't great, but they were just so much more talented, and the Giants were so incompetent. Jaden Daniels had multiple drives in that game where he had second and very long, second and 15, second and 19. And within 2 plays, he was converting that into first downs. And everything about him, nothing seems chaotic. It all seems doable, right? There's just like some quarterbacks, we saw this a little bit with Lamar before the chaos at the end, where it's so scary to bet against them because they can convert in the most challenging of situations. So I get why people would want to lean into the Commanders right now. I'm just leaning into the team at home that's a field goal favorite.
Yep, right there with you.
All right. This is a really interesting game to me. Jacksonville at Cincinnati. Cincinnati's a 3-point favorite at Hard Rock, and it had been trending towards that number. It opened at 3.5 and has been going, actually opened at 5.5 and had been going down, down, down. Look, the Jags were goodish against a much less talented team. I think we put that one in the category of they did what they're supposed to do. And the Bengals straight up should have lost on Sunday. They had fewer than half as many yards as the Browns. They averaged almost 2 yards less per play. They had half as many first downs. Joe Burrow completed 14 passes for 113 yards, averaged 3.85 yards per attempt. Even with multiple 3rd and 4th down drops by the Browns, the Bengals defense still allowed the Browns to go 11 of 19 on 3rd and 4th down conversions. Like, if you're a Browns fan, this is truly sickening. Here's my problem. I think this has been way over adjusted. 5.5 down to 3 at this point. Like, this was 5.5 until Sunday at 6 p.m. and it dropped 2 points because of the way the Bengals played. Dude, am I crazy for liking the Bengals here?
You're not at the number. I agree. But there are 3.5s out there. Like, I honestly was coming in here, I was hoping we would take the Jaguars. But like you said, the number is moving too much. Probably going to get to 2.5 by the way it's going right now, because that's some real professional money now that's coming heavy on this Jaguars side. And they were spot on last week. So it's hard for me to sit here and doubt them when they're taking a position on this team. And they nailed it last week in this matchup, and you're really breaking it down. This isn't that great of a matchup for the Bengals, right? There are guys on the defensive line of the Jaguars that can give them major problems. Like, that's as much as you want to bash Joe Burrow, because yes, 7 yards for a guy who many say is top 5 in the NFL at the quarterback position, pretty embarrassing. Let's be honest. And does fall on him a little bit. Like, you can't just make a quick read to get a first down with one of the best receivers in all of football. It was a bad look. So, your opinion on the Bengals, this is probably a nice buy low spot. So I get why you're like the -3. I go back and watch that film, and it just looks very scary, where their defense is terrible. There are gaping holes running, and I don't think either of us think Stefanski's, on the same level as Liam Cohen as an offensive mind. So if his run game worked, I would think the Jags have an advantage in this matchup of their run game, of the run blocking scheme and offense. As bad as Trevor Lawrence looks at some points, if he has a good run game, we've seen him really be good and play action and be able to push the ball downfield. So, yeah, I get where you're coming from. The 3.5 to me is the difference. 3.5, I'm there on the Jaguars. If me and Chad are stuck on a 3 or a 2.5 in our contest, I'm not forcing the Jaguars in here. It's just all about the number because I think we're both weary of this Jaguars team being overvalued of such a dominant week one.
Yeah, look, there's actually trends that back taking the Bengals here. When two good teams are playing each other and one team is off a blowout win and one team won by a very small number, historically, you want to take the team that won by the very small number. It's sort of flashing red for me, actually flashing green. Simon, you know that I spent the summer working on like various models and systems and stuff with my Harvard stats intern. And this is one of the games that the model is saying bet, bet, bet. I'm a little hesitant because it's a little different when it's one game into the season versus 5 games into the season. So I'm not rushing.
And the trend, right? The Sean, we talked about the Burrow trend of 1-9 straight up, I believe, in the first 2 weeks. That's scary.
Yeah.
That's a real thing.
Yeah. So like to me, I lean Bengals here just because of the number, but I don't want to play it aggressively. I've not made a bet on it. I don't care about it in the contest. It just was interesting to me that the line is...
And the 2.5 might be unavoidable. Once it hits that number, like, how do you not take the Bengals at this point?
You're going to have to. The Bengals' offensive line was terrible. And granted, the Browns' defense was amazing, but you made a very good point. Like, Josh Hines-Allen is a fierce pass rusher. And even if nothing else in the Jaguars defense is great, like he can create pressure that will be disruptive to the Bengals and make their offensive line really, really challenged. So scary. It's a scary game. It's a weird game to want to dive into deeply as a bettor. Oh, dude. New England at Miami. Miami is a 1.5 point favorite. Look, I said this on the Sunday show. This opened at 1.5. It got bet up to 2.5. When it got up to 2.5, there was 1.5 still out there. So I grabbed the 1.5 and it started moving back in the Dolphins' direction because yesterday, apparently everyone watched film and ran their models and realized, what you've known for months. The Dolphins team has no secondary. It has no offensive line. If Tua can't get his first read, he's in total shock mode. Mike McDaniels might be out of tricks. And oh, by the way, it was reported this morning that Tyreek Hill has been accused of domestic violence by his estranged wife. I was a manager, executive for a long time between ESPN and Action. And I know what it's like when you are trying to run an organization and everything is going badly because of the choices you made. Like when the things you can control are going badly, I totally get it. But when the things that you can't control are going badly, I'm just imagining Mike McDaniel's face as soon as he heard this news. He's like, you got to be freaking kidding me. I've bet the Dolphins already. I'm not looking to invest any more in it. Please help me get out of this.
You can't be helped. The fact you already bet it just shows you can't be helped. I get it what you're doing. You're betting on the team that looked the worst in week one that got blown out, and everyone's killing them in national media. It could work for you, but to me, there is just no logical reason to back this team where it just feels like this isn't the spot. These aren't the spots where this team turns around. I think when they get a new head coach, whatever it is, maybe in week 9 and 10, they have some couple redemption games. Because like we said, they do have talent in some spots, like, a really good running back. They have pretty good receivers. Tua, as lost as he's looked, me and Chad have seen him look like a comparable quarterback. It's just so bad, so negative. And, talking about being checked out on your head coach, I think they've been checked out. And that's the fear here is he going to motivate them here? Because in my mind, for them, if they just eat this game, I think they think he could be out after the game, right? This is at home. They've already been embarrassed week one. There was a reason he was the favorite, right, to be first head coach fired. So, Yeah, it's bad. And when I look across the field at Vrabel, I feel like this is the perfect kind of spot for him and his team where they're bad as well. New England, I think we talked a little about that coming into the year where it's like, I think they just got too much hype based on their schedule. We talked about it, like they were looked at as an easy team to everyone else. While the Patriots were like, oh, look how easy our schedule is. It's like, you guys are an easy team. So, they have weaknesses. If Christian Gonzalez is in this game, if they have their defense fully healthy, and in my mind, this is a much better bounce back spot for Drake May than it was playing that Raiders in that first game where they just looked like they were honestly outcoached by Pete Carroll and his group. Like preparedness wise, offensively, I mean, Chad knows my love for Geno. That just all worked so well for them. I think it's so negative here. This feels like a type of spot Vrabel gets his guys right. That's why I just liked it. Again, Chad was on the other upside side. When this got to 2.5, I immediately hit the Patriots side. Again, same as you, though, just dipping my toes in because I don't know how involved I would even want to be in this game because it's just I just hate this Miami team so much because, like, you think in your own mind, this could be a spot where they bounce back. So I'm not going to make us force in the Patriots, but I can clearly see we're both on opposite sides in this game.
Well, I'm not on any side in this game. Like,
Your mind says otherwise.
I made a mistake. Like we all make mistakes. Like what did I say? This season I was not going to make.
I get where you're coming from. I get where your view is in this one. Cause again, it was so embarrassing.
It was so embarrassing. And look, there's a website that's great. That's called Killer Sports. And I don't know if you know it or not, Simon.
No, but I just love you get on the internet and going on weird sites.
So Killer Sports, I discovered it when I was hanging with this guy, who's a professional bettor, who lives in Costa Rica. And we were sitting on his couch all day and watching games. And anytime we started talking sort of in depth about a game or a team, it could be college football, it could be baseball, it could be NFL. And we were talking about how does this team do or how does this pitcher do? He would just go to Killer Sports and there's a search bar and you could type in using real language, anything you're interested in finding out about betting on teams. And it's got this database that goes back 36 years.
Oh, it's amazing.
So I just typed in like NFL teams after a blowout of 20 points or more. I think I did since 2015 because to me, as much data as there is available on sort of betting, 2015 is when the extra point moved back, right? And so it changed how teams go for two, and it changed what key numbers are a little bit. So I use that as sort of the line of demarcation. Since 2015, teams off a 20-point loss cover at a 54% rate. So I have that in the back of my head as I'm going through these matchups. It's not making me like the Dolphins anymore. I think that if we're talking about two teams off a loss that need to make adjustments, Vrabel is going to have his team more ready than Mike McDaniels. But that is a note to consider for the Miami Dolphins.
Got you.
That's it. San Francisco at New Orleans. Look, there's news here, right? Hard Rock Bet has this line at San Francisco -4. It was at 7. And obviously there's Brock Purdy injury news. His status this weekend is uncertain because of toe and injury issues. George Kittle is out because of the hamstring issue. Already, like, the Niners are suffering the injury bug that they tend to suffer every year, which is just a bummer because they're always so talented, and I feel badly for this franchise. But look, now the number's down to 4. Pretty big move. All of it's a pass for me. Like, I'm not betting on Mac Jones as a favorite on the road. I'm not betting on the Saints as a short home dog. No thanks.
Yeah, this number is moving, and it was a game we were honestly probably going to be on. Like, I liked how the Saints played in that Cardinals game. I know they didn't cover, but they had so many opportunities to do it. And again, they're just a bad team. That's why they didn't cover. It's just pretty simple. And I pretty much been on brand with my 49ers team. I think they are talented, but I think they're going to have a lot of growing pains. And unfortunately for them, they're not going to be able to go through those growing pains, right? The injury bug is already hitting this team, which is just brutal. And, this is the type of game where I would have just hoped and prayed that Purdy played, because this would have been a huge pick in Survivor contest, and this felt like a trap game coming in. And because, again, that 49ers win over the Seahawks, that's a huge emotional win on the road against a divisional opponent. Like, this was a bad spot for this 49ers team. And now, like Chad just said, Hard Rock here in Jersey, they're 4.5. They're going down to 4 in most books. So, the number is moving towards the 4 from the 4.5. That just shows where the professional money is, and it shows that I don't think they think Purdy's going to play. And I don't have an opinion on it now because the numbers moved so much that if Purdy doesn't play, it's Mac Jones. That's a big deal. Like, what Purdy does so special on that team is his legs, like what he can do with his legs. So, I think we can be patient here, Chad. If we're lucky and this line locks at 4.5, like in contest, like most of you, and by kickoff this is down to 2.5, 3, that's going to be a long, hard thought. Spencer Rattler over Mac Jones in this matchup here, because again, on paper, Kamara and McCaffrey obviously is better, but in their systems, pretty similar running backs, right? Catching out of the backfield, really versatile weapons. Like, there's a lot of counter them on the offense, and then defensively, we saw that Saints, they got a lot of veterans, right? Like, they have a lot of guys that are still there that have been there for a long time that produce. So I don't know. I'm trying not to get too into this now because the line could go right back up to 7 if Purdy's cleared. So this is a game. Be patient. If you want to grab the 4.5 on the Saints now, just because the professionals are moving this to 4, I can't hate you. I can't fight you on it. I'm gonna probably most likely do it once we get off this call.
The injury for Purdy is a shoulder and a toe. The reports are
apparently the toe is worse.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. The reports are that the toe is significantly worse. And to your point about him being a mobile quarterback who can make plays and sort of keep plays alive with his legs, that's huge. Like, even if it's a hindrance for the next 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever weeks, that's something that's going to impact them. One thing, the Niners had a terrible game rushing the ball against the Seahawks. So we're going to get into the Seahawks and the Steelers in a minute. But they could get healthy, so to speak, rushing against the Saints, who just gave up 150 yards on the ground to the Cardinals, right? Like, the Niners in every way, even if it's Mac Jones and they can crowd the box, the Saints can, the Niners will find a way to be more effective running the ball against the Saints. I do.
I was like, I don't know. Again, I just have questions about that offensive line. And just the 49ers, I think people saw that, if you rewatch that game, it was all Purdy that bailed them out, right? That was either going to be a pick in the end zone or a touchdown, a 50-50 ball at the end of the game. And then a very, very well-timed Bosa pushing the lineman into, get that strip sack at the end of the game on Darnold, which, sealed the game. So it's like their 2 big-time studs stepped up at the end of the game, and now they might not have Purdy, a guy they desperately need. It's just something to keep in mind how big of a deal he is to that team.
Oh, it was totally fluky that they covered that game. They had no right winning the game, let alone covering the game.
That's why I love superstar players, right? They show up in those moments, and that's why you win those big games.
Cleveland at Baltimore. Line is 10.5. Look, this was at 12.5 on Sunday.
Yeah, it's moving.
It's moving. It went down to 11.5, and then yesterday went back up to 12.5. And then all of a sudden, just this morning, there's been a rush on the Browns, and it's moved back down to 10.5. I know the side that we want to play here is the Browns, right? I don't love it as much as I thought I would.
No? Oh, I love it. I love this match of the Browns, but obviously it's all about the number. If we can get 9.5, I'm happy to flip to the Ravens, right? I have this right at 10. So still at 10.5, I do like Cleveland, but I'm in the same boat of, like, if the public absolutely was hammering the Ravens and this had got up to 13.5, would have loved it. Would have been Simon Says most likely. Like, I don't care taking them back-to-back weeks because it's like we're just playing the value here. So the number, early line movement, to me is right. It should have been Cleveland money early here. Like that, the Ravens are really talented. They're really good. It's a divisional game. It's a divisional game in a spot where, we're probably getting value on Cleveland because they should have won. Like, they should have won. This number probably should be under 10. And,
Yeah.
if they win by a touchdown or a field goal, whatever it would have been, it would have been a big movement to this line, because I think the public would have been much more respectful of this Cleveland team. But like we talked about, the public is getting smarter. People on ESPN, other shows, it's not all brain rot. Some info they're giving out is good, and the info they're giving out is how dominant that Browns defense was against the Bengals, which is that a Bengals thing? We're about to find out this week. Was that a Bengals problem, or was that Cleveland's defense being that good? So, at this number, I like it. This is a better defense than the Bills. That's for damn sure. So they obviously don't have the MVP of Josh Allen. That's why we're getting 10.5. So not going to force it in. We like Cleveland side. If it gets under 10, we can have a conversation about the Ravens, because at that point, the disrespect is too far. And this is still, the number 1, number 2 seed in the AFC.
Yeah, look, you just took the words out of my mouth. The Bills' pass rush totally wreaked havoc on the Ravens on Sunday night. And the Browns are better at every level than the Bills defensively. They're
secondary.
better.
Yeah.
Their secondary is so much better. Their pass rush is so much better. Their defense, it's hard to quantify all of the ways in which their defense was so dominant situationally and overall against the Bengals. Like, they made Joe Burrow look like he was a rookie playing in his first game. They were just freaking brilliant.
Literally, we joked, but it was literally almost impossible to lose that game. And they did lose it. It's incredible.
That's just because it's Cleveland.
Yeah, but mathematically, you've seen all the numbers where it's like 2 and 300, all these teams with what the Bengals were in that exact spot. Now it's like they're the third team ever to win, getting 7 yards in the second half.
I'm going to give you a stat, though. Ready? Are you ready?
Ready.
Since 2015, double-digit road dogs in the division only cover 43% of the time.
Womp womp. So yeah, not the best spot, but again, still love it a little bit. But like we said, I'm hoping honestly this goes to Ravens 9.5.
That's what I would prefer.
That would be the spot to back.
I'd rather bet the Ravens in single digits at this point than bet the Browns at double-digit dogs.
But that Ravens defense, they came out slow last year. Who knows what they'll be this year? But it's hanging on me, Chad. This exact spot last year, Raiders, 10-point dogs.
Yeah,
Minshew.
Oh, I remember.
So it's a weird thing with this team. I don't know if it's. I guess it can be put on Harbaugh, right? I think at the end of the day, this all has to be put on Harbaugh. He's got arguably the best running back, best quarterback tandem ever. So it's just weird they keep losing these games where they have huge leads. And we expect a bounce back spot here. So I think we're in line here. If it's 9.5, we'll have a real decision to make.
Yep. All right, let's do a quick message from our friends at Hard Rock. We are crazy excited to announce our new presenting sponsor, Hard Rock Bet. I don't know if you know this. I've got a very long history of staying at Hard Rock hotels and casinos, including one football season, practically living there, literally. They've always been, to me, the best combination of vibe and fun. Now you can use the top-rated Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook to place your bets all NFL season and beyond. Hard Rock Bet is the only legal sportsbook in the state of Florida and is also available in Arizona, Ohio, New Jersey, Indiana, Tennessee, Virginia, Illinois, and Colorado, with more states launching all the time. You can also play on Hard Rock Bet's online casino if you are in New Jersey. Simon, I know you want to check that out. From here on out, you'll start to see us use Hard Rock Bet lines when we're talking about the games. And everyone knows, Simon and I, we have loved getting out and doing live shows. Now we can actually do them from Hard Rock property. Simon, do we see a sharp or square live show from AC just down the road from you in our future? As we gear up for NFL season, sign up for Hard Rock Bet. Make a $5 bet. You'll get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Head over to Hard Rock Bet, sign up, and make your first deposit today. All right, we're looking at the Giants in Dallas. Dallas is a 5.5 point favorite. This number has been moving in the direction of the Giants. A little surprised, to be honest, that there would be any enthusiasm for the Giants at all after this past week. They seem like they could compete with the Dolphins for worst record in the NFL, because I don't know what they're going to do on offense. They already look like they are falling apart on the sidelines. Russell Wilson was just dreadful, right? I was actually pretty encouraged by the Cowboys on Thursday night. Like, you could see in these games for these two teams over the weekend how a team with a mediocre roster can be better and competitive with a very good quarterback, and how a bad quarterback can just bring that whole team down. And you called it in the preseason about how good Dak is. It just changes everything for a team when that quarterback can make plays. And so to me, I like, this line actually exploded on Sunday, and there's been some buyback. Probably lean Dallas here.
Yeah, love Dallas. And, that week one, I got so many messages about why I bet so heavy week one. And we've talked about it, right? It's just, if I can bet something for months at a time, it's easier for me to get a lot of money down. And the Cowboys, that was a rare opportunity. We talked, that was 7, opened at 7. And I kept saying, it's just, this is not a Dak line. Like, people just forget the talent of Dak because he was hurt. And man, did I almost have egg on my face, because you don't ever expect Parsons trade. And that was the scariest part of that line, where it's like, I wanted to see what their defense was going to be like, obviously, without Parsons, because to me, we saw it against the Eagles. Like, there was no pass rush without him. Like, totally neutralized. He is by far the best player in that defense. Why would they get rid of this guy? Like, you saw it in that Eagles game. It is a big deal, right? And you can say, well, they came out, they made adjustments, and the defense played way better, especially against the run, that was the biggest deal, right? They wanted to prove against the run. You saw that. So, the hesitation about this Cowboys team, that would be it, right? We don't really still know what they are. But to me, it's, again, being confident in why I'm betting this. I have this number at 7. So this is really about Dak. Dak beats the shit out of bad teams, especially in his own division. This Giants team is a bad team. And, you saw people trying to force their Giants love this offseason and, talk about how good their D-line is. There are so many other aspects to a team besides the D-line. That's why I thought their draft pick was dumb. Adub Carter is an incredible talent. I get you have to take him. Your offensive line is so bad. It is 3-4 years away from being fixed if you're the Giants. And you knew you were taking Dart late in the first. Like, to me, you trade down at least from that pick and you get offensive linemen, because we've seen that's the problem around this Giants team. Russell Wilson had no time. I mean, Neighbors is losing his mind. That offense is putrid. I mean, this might have to be a survivor pick, because when else are we going to use Dallas in this exact spot, right?
Right.
Dallas at home, coming off a game they should have won. CD gifted that win to that Eagles team. That they lost that game 30 different ways, that Eagles team. Like, that was such a Dallas win, between the fumble, the untimely fumble, and the drops by CD. I can't imagine what their practice is like this week, and just Dak knows they cannot be going 0-2, let alone let this be a close game. I see them rolling. I love this number. It's going to be probably the most public line I like this week, right? The -5.5, -6. So I like that the pros are buying back on the Giants. They can't quit them. They're like you with Miami. They just can't quit it. And I see what they see. But, man, this just feels like a bad spot and a bad matchup for the Giants team, which we talked about. Their schedule is just so brutal. There's no week off. Every week it's just brutal, brutal, brutal. And this is another bad week. So, yeah, I'm not there yet on this Giants team. 7.5. If it gets there, yes, I like Giants. But under 7, this is I think we're in sync. This is totally a Dallas line and a good number.
It's so weird how so many wise guys were playing the Giants against the Commanders.
Big money,
too.
Big
you
money.
were all over the Commanders.
Yeah.
And everybody was piling into the Giants. This was the most telling stat to me out of that game. The Giants had 11 scoring opportunities with plays inside the 10-yard line. 4 of them from the 3-yard line. They failed on all 11. Like, they're falling. They were falling apart before our eyes. Any other game, the Commanders the Commanders play any other team, and that's a close game. Like, they were keeping them in the game. And the Giants could not figure out a way to capitalize on anything. They just looked completely lost. It's like the Hall of Fame legacy for Russell Wilson. When he was at peak leaving Seattle, every year just gets worse and worse and worse for Russell Wilson. We owe people a Simon Says. We owe people a Chad Loves Love. This feels a little too square for me to go Chad Loves Love. But the way you talk about it, I'm tempted. And it's sort of in the range of where I like to bet teams, like that 3-9. So it's interesting. Very
definitely tempted with the 5.5, because that to me is a really good number right now on this Cowboys side.
Yeah, I got to consider that. Listen, Detroit is now a 5.5-point favorite at Hard Rock Bet over the Chicago Bears. You mentioned this on Sunday night, and then yesterday I texted you, and I called you. I'm like, were you really leaning Detroit 4.5? And you're like, I can't even remember what I said because I was up for 36 straight hours until the Sunday show. But you did say, let's get the 4.5 for Detroit now.
Yeah, just in case the Bears look bad, right? That was probably my rationale.
They did. Here's the problem. I'm a little skeptical about the Lions. Like, digging into that game, I thought in the first half they had opportunities to sort of make this game close and not have it be so lopsided for the Packers in terms of the score. But I'm worried about their offensive line. Like, Frank Ragnow, the center, retired. Kevin Zeitler, the guard, left in free agency. They had a couple rookies in there who just looked like rookies. And will they get everything fixed over the course of 5 days of practice, so this running game can be sort of the bulwark that it had been, that sets everything up for Jared Goff? I would lean into the Lions because I think clearly their coaching staff is better than the Bears. But I don't love this game right now.
Yeah, I hope Bears fans hear this. Don't be so doom and gloom. I know that's the whole Chicago personality. It's just, we lost game 1. The world's over. We're the worst team ever. Burn it all down. Caleb's a bust. We showed I get it. That's very Chicago, but I talked about this you have to treat this as Caleb's rookie year. Last year was a total waste. This offense, you watched that game, Chad, you saw it. It's when it works, it looks really on, and it's a great system. So if Caleb's not the guy, he will be gone. But at least you can see that you most likely have a head coach who he needs to go through his own growing pains as well. He's going to do stupid stuff, make stupid calls, and that's just the way it is. I mean, in that game, they had that pick 6, and their next 5 possessions, I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive because I watched that game. The next 5 possessions were either a punt or a missed field goal. So, again, they're up 17-6, and they have all these punts. They have the missed field goal, and then in the fourth quarter, the Vikings came back. So, at the end of the day, it's on Caleb, Chad, and that's my fear here is we had Seth Wickersham on, and I pressed him about the mental makeup of this kid because, to me, in life, you want adversity. You want someone that's failed a lot and dealt with, challenges, and he just seemed like he was so talented. He just floated through his whole life. And, whether it was in high school, Oklahoma, USC, he was always great until his last year there. And we're seeing with that Bears game, like he had open guys he missed. And that's my fear with Caleb here, where, that number seems so big to me with the Lions because it's still the Lions where that could have just been one bad game and they're legit. They'll be fine this year. Or like we keep thinking, that offensive line, that's a major issue. Their offensive line is a big problem. And they didn't make adjustments. Like Green Bay out-schemed them and made better adjustments. Even in that second half, I mean, they got a late touchdown with, 2 minutes left, the Lions. But like Chad's saying here, there's a lot to be doubtful of this Lions team. So if anything, I'll just not bet this one. But I think at the end of the day, if it's under 6 like it is right now, that's good value towards this Lions team that, if they do click, they could roll this Bears team 40-17. Like that would not be that shocking where there's a couple of really bad losses week 1. That's up there for the worst loss of the week. You're at home, prime time, 17-6. The vibes could not be higher, and just total train wreck. And, like Chad's doing a little bit of soul searching. JJ, you can see it, right? You see the top 10, the possibility.
Moxie. A lot of moxie.
That's the painful part about it.
So much moxie. I yesterday about 5:30, my buddy Matt called me. Everyone who's been listening to the show for years knows Matt. And he says to me, I say hello. He doesn't even say hello. He just starts ranting about how much the Bears suck. And it's 5:30. The game is 3 hours away. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, I'm just getting it out of the way because I know this is how I'm going to feel and this is what I'm going to be saying. We were texting during the game. He couldn't have been more right. Like everything he said.
It was, I don't know about you. I was like, all right, Chad was right about his Bears being a home divisional dog. That was right. But
I was right for about 75% of the game.
I've never seen, again, this is why the JJ mystique is at all-time high. I've never seen a guy in his first game throw a pick 6 and in the fourth quarter score 3 touchdowns, throwing 2, rushing for 1. Just, again, Vikings.
Baller.
Yeah, you might come crashing and burning, but I would be very excited because I could not believe what I was witnessing. Where this guy
there were a few things in this
totally
game.
Lost.
There were a few things. He looked totally lost and out of his depth for 3 quarters. But then Kevin O'Connell, who we love, like I think he's a top 5 coach easily in the NFL. What he has done year after year with Kirk Cousins, then Sam Darnold, and now J.J. McCarthy.
He's got to win something for me, but I get where you're coming from.
His ability to turn nothing into something in the middle of a game, he's the reason they won that game. He found what would make J.J. McCarthy comfortable, put him in positions to succeed, and the guy was throwing lasers at the end of the game to guys to receivers who had been schemed open. And so just really impressive. I actually, on Twitter this morning and Threads, I asked followers to give me a redraft of the 2024 QB class, the 6 quarterbacks.
Yeah, you went that route.
I said Jaden Daniels number 1. Almost universally, Bo Nix was number 2. And I'm like, that's fucking stupid. And then JJ, it was like JJ and Penix were 3 and 4. And most of it was then Drake May 5 and Caleb Williams 6.
That's insane.
Isn't that great? If you have ideas on this, put it in the YouTube chat. I'm going to respond when I jump in. Give me your redrafted top 6 from 2024. All right. Interesting game coming up. Jets at Buffalo. Buffalo 6.5 at Hard Rock Bet right now. Big move on this one. This was at 8.5. We both lean Jets. And this was before the Bills win against the Ravens. Then it moved down considerably. At 6.5, I'd go with the Bills here. Am I sharp or am I square on that one?
Definitely square. My view of it is just your read of the line might have moved too much. Could be true, but at the same time, I think this is the proper amount of movement for how bad and banged up and injured that Bills secondary and defense is. Like, you see how important having a safety who can come downfield and tackle is. Like, that is everything in football. If you can't stop the run with your safety, you will give up huge plays. And what I took from that Jets team is they're going to scheme up big plays. Like, Breece Hall is good. Like, he's a year and a half removed now from that knee injury, and he looked like he had that step back, which was missing. And that's why people are saying he was a guy that could be getting traded, this whole, preseason, everything like that. And Justin Fields, going back watching that game, he had 3 or 4 throws that could have been pick sixes, like insanely tight windows, but he made the throws. And we've seen it when Fields is on, he looks like a top 5, top 10 quarterback. It's incredible because he's so athletic. His delivery is so smooth and his deep ball looks amazing. So You know, I want to be there on the Bills. I agree with Chad. Like, it feels like I should be more tempted on this Bills team, but on the road against the Jets, you know, I just could see the Jets always keeping right behind them, like keeping the score close. So another game I won't force because the numbers move too much. Where at 7.5, I would have been very more. I honestly would have been very confident in this Jets team. But we've seen it with Josh Allen against bad teams.
Yep.
Usually he beats them up. Wouldn't be shocked if he's got, a double-digit lead and Justin Fields just has his off day, which is what he does. He's an up-and-down quarterback. So the matchup-wise, though, it's like Fields, he could rush for 100. Like, we literally just saw how bad this team is against the read option. Like, just you're trying to have Bosa on the edge stop a read option, not the good Bosa either, the older brother. So it's a tough spot for this Bills team, and I think your read on the value might be on the number moving too much is correct. I'm just, I think this probably should be closer to 5. It's still 6.5. I am tempted on this Bills team, but it's like, man, I can't get over how bad their defense is. Where it's like, even it's just too much. It's too big of a number to me for that defense, where I could be major wrong because Josh Allen is just that good. Where if he's just tearing up this Jets defense that just got torn up by Rodgers, obviously that favors Josh Allen in this spot.
I don't think Justin Fields is Lamar Jackson, and so I
Running
don't
wise,
want.
he's pretty close. I'm going to say that right now.
Right, but he's not the passer that he is. And so I do think that Lamar Jackson's threat as a passer changes how you play defensively, and the Bills will scheme to really just make sure Justin Fields can't be beating them as a runner and only has the option to pass.
What do you think
And
Pittsburgh did? Pittsburgh sold out to stop him as a runner, and he burned him with his legs, and the running back burned him. Again, Pittsburgh was the number one highest paid defense. They got the guys, and they had a banged up secondary. You just saw what Fields did to a banged up secondary. That's what I'm saying. There's just so many similarities here. I get your hesitation with Fields, but man, this Bills defense has so many injuries. It's brutal.
I was thinking about adopting new teams in the AFC, just so I have something to root for. I settled on the Ravens over the Bills because the Bills I felt like would just break my heart in the same ways as the Bears would. I think the Ravens are going to break my hearts in different ways, so I might just adopt the Ravens in the AFC. Here, the value that we could have had 8.5 is just not going to be there, and it's setting up to be a game where there's so much emotion for the Jets right now. Classic fade the Jets, fade the hype.
But the books, this is going to be one of the books' biggest needs, because you can tease the Bills now to a pick. Like, that's why that line movement to me was such a huge deal. The fact that they've crossed into this 6.5 number is it's just going to be heavy, heavy, heavy Bills money. And they knew what they were doing. So that's really respected money that came in the Jets and moved this number. But like you said, Chad, your read could be right that it could have moved too much at this point. But this is definitely a game we're going to be talking about again on Thursday. I have no doubt this would be a big wise guy call.
All right, look, we still owe people a Chad Loves Love. We still owe people a Simon Says. Like last week with the Browns, I wonder if we're going to have a little debate over who's going to get to claim ownership on this next game. Seattle at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is a 3-point favorite at Hard Rock Bet and really across the board. You really like Seattle in week 1. And then I had some critiques about Seattle, which you scoffed at on Sunday night. And then I actually did a lot of rewatching of this game. And this line has actually moved up from 2.5 to 3 since Sunday. There are lots of reasons to fade Mike Tomlin as a favorite, and we did it against the Jets this past weekend. He's not profitable as a favorite at home either, as he is not on the road. Here's what's tickling me about this game. Seattle's defense was really excellent against the Niners. Opening TD drive, they basically kept the Niners scoreless the rest of the game until the final drive. The pressure on Purdy was relentless. They limited them to just over three yards per carry. They were opportunistic. You unpack that Steelers game, and Aaron Rodgers, like, one of his TD passes was a shovel pass. Another was on a short field. He was sacked 4 times. His QBR was middle of the pack. He didn't even attempt to throw more than 20 yards downfield. The defense for the Steelers, they could not stop the rush, more than 180 yards rushing. A lot of that was Breece Hall. Some of that was Justin Fields. I'm kind of surprised it moved in the Steelers' direction. I liked Seattle more than I thought it would. Chad loves love. He loves the Seattle Seahawks +3.
What? That's the shocker of the day. This is your favorite bet now? Oh my God.
I can't really find one that I love.
Bring back bullying America. Yeah, I'm shocked. I like this number 2. I have no fear that it's up to 3. If anything, I'm hoping more public money comes up and the books have to shift it again to 3.5. Because right now, like, I'm looking, it's the splits right now. It's all Pittsburgh money, like heavy Pittsburgh money right now. So that's what I said. I hope I said on Sunday night, this is the exact spot you want to be in. You just want to be patient, let the masses come and bet it up. And the Seahawks team, don't know if they'll win it because that, like, the Sam Darnold part of it. But I think you see what I say about them keeping these type of games close. It's like these teams that they're pretty much even with, which is what they were, the 49ers, they will keep games close in ugly games. And their defense can really pull teams down into the mud. And, like, that's what I really like about that coach and the way he coached up this defense of just never bend and break. Like, they're just so, like, there's multiple times in that 49ers game where I could see that they were just worn down, right? Because it was just never ending relentless of Robinson and McCaffrey, that combo for the 49ers run game. And they just never broke. Like, even at the end with that Purdy touchdown, like we said, it was a 50-50 ball. Like, it could have gone either way. So in this matchup, like we talked about, I just like the Seahawks. And my hesitation will just be diving more into the whole splits of West Coast team coming east, playing in this exact spot after such a brutal, tough divisional game, what that means for them. And on the flip side, Pittsburgh, I want to see their injury report, because if they are missing all these guys again from their secondary, this is the exact type of matchup you want for the Seahawks in that Kubiak run blocking scheme, where if they make 1 or 2 guys miss, if the linebacker or the D lineman miss their assignment, there's going to be gaping holes like we saw for that Jets team against this Pittsburgh team. So another game, Chad, where I like we're on the same page. A +3, it's a great number. We're praying this gets a 3.5 for the contest. That would be great value on the Seahawks line.
When you say bring back bullying, are you mad that I stole it from you?
No, you just I feel like you were sensitive to me. Like, you were acting like I was being mean to her. I was just trying to get you on the same page of, like, don't take Pittsburgh here. Back the Seahawks team. They're not as bad as that, game looked offensively. Like, I agreed with you that Darnold did struggle in some aspects, but that running game, there's a lot to like, I think, going forward for what that Seahawks is trying to set up with their running style.
I'm nothing if not open-minded.
Okay.
I'm willing to see all the angles. I did my research yesterday. I dug in. I watched some of the game.
There you go.
I was just not impressed with the Steelers at all against the Jets. It's partially coloring why I'm less impressed with their win than I think other people with their loss than other people are, which is coloring then my feeling about the Bills. But I just thought Seattle, like, they dominated that game. And you said at the beginning of the show, Brock Purdy won that game with a 50-50 ball. And then there was a fluky, offensive lineman who runs into Sam Darnold's hand and he fumbles when they could potentially win the game. So,
and this line would be 2. If they won that game, this line would be 2, 1.5. So, like we say all the time, you take the value, and especially the fact that this is, besides the Cowboys, there's a couple other games, but this is up there for the biggest public side right now in Pittsburgh.
Yep. Denver, Indy +2. Lines have been moving from 3 to 2.5 to 2. Not a pro Joe split exactly, but definitely see the money starting to come in and tilt towards Indianapolis. Are you still seeing value on this? On Sunday night, you were liking the Colts. Where do you stand now?
Yeah, and another spot, like I loved it. Couldn't believe it opened at 3. Took the value Sunday, bet it again yesterday. Now, like you just said, it's down to 2. I'd still take that. Like I talk all the time about key number 2 is it's going to get to 1.5. I'm assuming like this will be pros versus Joes. I think the public will come in on this Denver team eventually, but
Simon, if the Twitter poll is any indication, people are still full believers in Bo Nix.
Right. So I just think they'll throw out last week's game and, they'll come in here and just think that it's all good. And I just think, a whole offseason, you saw Tennessee, what they did to Bo Nix to give him problems. That's what it's like, right? You get a full year playing. Teams have a whole offseason to adjust to it, and they're going to give them problems. So looking at this matchup, like I said, Colts eventually will jump off this train. I'm playing the number here. So like at +2 at Hard Rock, that's great value in my opinion. I'd go grab that right now because I've talked to a couple other guys who are in the same mindset of me, and they have money like I do. They'll be betting this Colts side. They're going to keep moving this number down. So I think we jump back on here, unfortunately, for our contest talking Thursday. I don't think we're going to get a 2.5. I think it's going to go down 1.5, get closer to a pick, and that's going to be a tough choice because at that point we're chasing a bad number. But 2. If you're hearing this right now, go grab it. That's good value on this Colts team.
But it's not Simon Says.
Nope, that's a free one. It's just a gift.
Just a gift. It's just a gift. Carolina at Arizona. Arizona's a 6.5-point favorite at home. Listen, we know the sharp side here is to go bet Carolina. And good for us that we didn't bet Carolina last week. We did not ask anyone to bet Carolina last week. We actually bet against Carolina last week. I know we try to time these spots, a bounce back. The only offensive bright spot for Carolina was Chuba Hubbard. The receiver depth is so limited. The defense is terrible and has some injuries. Simon, say your piece.
I thought McMillan played well too, though. Their first
he did
round pick.
He played well.
Yeah,
like 6 or 7 catches, and he did a nice job getting himself open. And like when they did have drives and sort of sustain any momentum, it was because Bryce Young was finding him. I'm surprised you're not saying this is Simon Says right now.
No, because I'm like you, where
I'm not sold yet.
I'm trying to be smart about this Panthers team, and I did go back and watch their game, and as bad as the Cardinals played in some aspects against that Saints team, they still might be able to run for 200 yards against this Panthers team. Like their stuff they do offensively that really favors them in this matchup, and Cardinals might have got a steal draft. They have a corner who's might be a legit shutdown corner, and Chad just nailed it. Like they don't have if you're taking away now their number 1 pick, and there is no Thielen safety route guy, and that was pretty apparent for Bryce Young in that game. He didn't have a number 2 he could trust, especially on third down. So, I'm not going to force it. I might get there on Thursday. We sit here right now. I haven't put a penny on this Panthers number, and my whole mentality is I just hope there's so much doubt out there like me that no one touches it and we do get a 7. Because once there's a 7, I have to take the Panthers once it gets a 7. But 6.5, I can be patient. I can let this number sit, but it's another one we have to look long and hard at for Survivor, Chad, because this is another good spot for the Cardinals. But man, this Panthers team, it's so brutal because I want to believe in them, but they just have so many gaping issues. And when you just look at the numbers from that week 1 matchup, we'll see if that was just a Jags thing, but it's incredible how bad their run defense is. And if you can't stop the run, you have one of the worst secondaries in football as well defensively. It's just
tough.
over. There's just nothing else left for them to do defensively to get stops.
You know what? I'm still really proud of us that we're not sort of just blindly going with the Panthers at 6.5 because we think there's something there. Because right now, I'm not sure we think there's anything there. Rams at Tennessee +6. I know we want to take Tennessee. The pros has moved on Tennessee. It's at one point moved from 6 to 5.5 and got that back up. I don't really know what we learned about the Rams, and we can say the same thing about the Texans when we talk about the Texans and the Bucs in a few minutes. I like Cam Ward was pretty terrible. Not the reason they lost the game, but
How dare you?
He wasn't anything that we're like, yep, number one pick going to be in the Hall of Fame. Not like he has to be in the first game. I got no lean here.
I got to send you a clip. He was good. I think Cam Ward was good in this game. It's just the team around him, the coaching, all of it. That's the issue with Tennessee. And this was almost Simon says, but I'm trying to be patient. But there is, like, to me, when I touch 6, it's like, oh my God. The value here is incredible. It's Stafford outdoors, that team outdoors on grass against a Tennessee team that I think people are like Chad. They didn't really think Cam Ward looked good, where I couldn't believe how good he looked against that Broncos defense. Like, there was 2 different times where he got first downs using his legs and they called it back for holding. I do think the offensive line will get better at that. They'll either be call signs from the sideline. Like, there's stuff they can do where they can yell out to know to let go, right? To know to let go when the defender is pulling away because Cam Ward is moving upfield. But, his weird arm angle, you saw it give Calvin Ridley some problems, right? He had some major drops in that game. Again, stuff that I think is going to improve as this goes along. So to me, I just love this Tennessee team. Maybe I'll try to get you on the same side and make it our ballsy bet again. I can't get over the line value, and the fact that, like you just said it, I think the pros are joining the public on this Ram side.
Yeah.
And this number is going to keep going up. So in case it doesn't, grab the 6 now, but love this spot for a team that, the Rams, they're skating, right? They won their game, so they're not getting much hate, but they didn't look that good against Houston. Like, that was really on CJ, right? CJ settling for field goals and not getting touchdowns was the difference of that game in that first half. I think it was 9-7 at a half.
Yep.
And then they didn't get at a point maybe the rest of the game, that Houston team. So Rams defense could be very legit, right? Another really tough assignment for this offense in Tennessee. But honestly, I look at the matchup, I'm just like, there's ways for Tennessee to win this matchup and attack this Rams team. And, Rams coming off that big physical game, now on the road, now outdoors. Let the public keep betting it up. Give me higher than 6. I'll take the 6 now, but at 6.5, Chad, I might have to force this one and just be like, we might lose it because we know the deal, right? It's a rookie here playing against Stafford, but too much respect for a Rams team that I think they got a little lucky in their week 1 matchup. And I think their defense has been a little overrated now because of it.
Philadelphia at Kansas City. Got a little line flip here. It opened at Chiefs 1.5 on Sunday night. It is now Kansas City +1. You liked the Eagles in this game when we talked on Sunday night. It has flipped. We don't love making that play when a team has gone from 1-point underdog to 1-point favorite. We did it with the Ravens. We bet them on Sunday night personally when it had gone from +1 to -1. A little bit of a kick in the dick. But I think we just think the Eagles have a better roster here. And as you said the other night, I don't think they're practicing these past few days as if they won a game. Meanwhile, the Chiefs have a rebuilt offensive line that was not very good, and now they're going to play against an even angrier Jalen Carter. Like, the Eagles were freakishly balanced in that game against the Cowboys in a way that really highlighted how in control the offense Jalen Hurts is and how they know their power. Their biggest issue was the lack of discipline, which I believe they will fix because they know how much they can't get away with that against a team like the Chiefs.
Yeah, and the Eagles, I think it was some freakish thing. They had like the most penalty yards in football in that first half against Dallas. Like, just everything felt like it was going wrong with that weather delay. And, Carter plays that game, no weather delay. You can see how there's ways that they just roll that Cowboys team, right? Because obviously he's the difference in that middle between the run, all of it.
Yeah.
Such a huge deal. I look at this game and I am just I don't know about you, but it's like this is usually me and Chad auto play the Chiefs. Like they're going to
Yeah.
be an underdog at home. I cannot see the public coming in on this Chiefs team, honestly. I mean, maybe in their teasers, right? If this gets up to 1.5, they'll throw them in up to 7.5. But betting it straight, I'm assuming it's going to just be all public money on this Eagles team as long as it's under 3. And I told Chad I agree with it on Sunday night, and I model it. I don't know if my model understands how big of a deal the worthy out is, but it's at a pick. So technically, right now it's +1 at Hard Rock. My model thinks there's value on this Chiefs team. I just disagree. I really dive into it. They look so slow defensively in many ways. And maybe that was because of the travel, but their defense in Spags, they didn't make adjustments that really wowed me. And feel like there was no move to make where this Eagles team can beat you in so many different ways. And they don't we might not have Dickerson. They might have, a substitute in there at the guard position, which is a big deal. And that could be a huge game breaker for Chris Jones. But it's like offensively, I just don't know how the Chiefs keep up with them. Now, if you're out your number 1, number 2 receiver and your running back Pacheco is not the same guy, and you got a left, tackle that's a rookie, it's like these things add up about this Chiefs team not being the team of the past that's getting so much respect. So it's hard, Chad. I really hate it because it feels so chalky and we're walking right into it. We're walking right into what we know. It just feels like a trap. But this is a game I'm going to wait on, talk to people at the books. I'm literally going to be in the books all day today and just talking to people and see what the public is. But I'm assuming I'm in the Philadelphia area. Everybody's just going to be so about this Eagles team. It's going to push me to loving this Chiefs team. I know it, but I'm trying to keep it 100 with everyone, and just know that it's a game. I was confident with it, I guess, Sunday night. I'm wavering a little bit just because everything about it, the alarms are going off where it's like, this is a Chiefs spot. But I can't get over the fact, is it a Chiefs spot? This is not the same Chiefs team of old that me and you blindly back. Like, this is real hesitation. I just, breaking it down, I don't know how they move the ball in this Eagles defense. Again, as good as the Chargers team is, they're not as good as this Eagles defense across the board. So, yeah, revenge spot, Super Bowl, everything. I get it. But, me and Chad talked about that travel, all of it. It's so negative for this Chiefs team. And I know it's hard to think, but them being 0-2, that's a real thing right now. I think that's something that's actually going to happen.
Look, every year it catches up, right? And the
Yeah.
key to winning at betting sometimes is catching the wave before it crests. And we're trying to do that with the Chiefs right now.
Yep.
And this might be the spot. Atlanta at Minnesota. This is the Sunday night football game. You still owe us a Simon Says second primetime game in a row for J.J. McCarthy. Second time being a primetime favorite in as many starts. I think I'm going to call him J.J. Moxie. I'm going to coin that right now, trademark it. If you'd like to buy it from me, that's totally cool. I can sell it like it's the late 90s, like I'm selling, internet names. Early money was on Atlanta, but then it all flipped after the game last night. The line got up to 5.5 for a minute. Now it's been bought back. Atlanta, sharp or square.
Can't believe it, but Simon Says, give me the Vikings -4.5.
Wow.
I know. And it's shocking that I would love such a public favorite on a Sunday night game. But I'm just grabbing this now in case it does go up to 6. Going back and watching that Atlanta team against the Bucs, Atlanta is going to have major issues. Like their O-line, banged up as it is, that's going to be a problem now when you're going against, to me, a great defense in the Vikings. That's why, Caleb took a lot of shit. He dodged a lot of sacks. Like, he had guys coming on him one-on-one, and he was able to get out of it. Penix doesn't move like that. Like, Penix is not that type of guy in the pocket where if you get him off his spot, he struggles. And, when I look at this matchup, I wasn't rushing to bet it because I wanted to see what JJ could do. But they match up perfectly against this Atlanta team. They're going to be able to run the ball for days. Like that, that's going to be very apparent to people early on this matchup. And, it's really about the number here. So to me, I have it at 6. It's 4.5. I'll take the value on this one. And yeah, I'm trying to switch it up because I was literally going to go Tennessee, but I'm like, okay, last week I made people take the Browns. Let me give them a favorite here. I think there's good value here. And I do think the public, they'll back Atlanta. I honestly believe that. So to me, 4.5, it could go down, but I see the professionals like me getting into their model, this Vikings team, and being like, wow, this team is legit. Like, this is a really good team. And defensively, I think they're going to give them major problems to Penix in this Falcons offense that, other than Robinson busting off an insane catch for 80 yards and making everyone miss, I just did not look the way they looked. They just didn't look consistent against the Bucs. And, Penix, that was his 4th start. This is a very young quarterback now facing a Flores defense on the road on Sunday night. So don't be shocked at why this number is so big. I'm telling you, it should be closer to 6. It's just the public right now. Like, I'm looking at the splits. It's actually pretty heavy towards this Atlanta team. So like Chad said, maybe people wake up today, they'll be more towards this Vikings team after that big comeback win. Maybe more money will come on this Vikings team. But early money right now looks like it's all Falcons, just because people just don't believe in this Vikings team that they should be this big of a favorite, where I'm telling you, it's a really bad spot for this Falcons team to be in.
Millman likes Seattle on the road as a dog for Chad Loves Love, and Simon says is Minnesota as a favorite in a prime time game. There are 2 Monday night games this week. Tampa Bay at Houston is the first one. Houston -2.5 at Hard Rock. I just thought all the games that these two teams played were both really strange. The Rams-Texans was freakishly even, down to the same exact number of plays for each team, total first downs. Even the QBs had the same number of incompletions. Meanwhile, Tampa Bay Atlanta could have ended regulation at 23 if not for a missed field goal. So the line moved from 1.5 to 2.5 in the first 24 hours in favor of the Texans. Why are people? My first thought is that the professional bettors are just more impressed with sort of how the Texans played the Rams than how the Bucs barely beat the Falcons.
I'm shocked with this too. And I've had like a couple of pros I talked to that was their first bet they made was Houston. And I'm right with you. I went back and watched the game because I know how much I love Tennessee, where it's like, all right, I need to really watch this Rams game and see this type of defense they're running here. And, Houston, we knew the deal. They're going to have this incredible defense. Can they block for CJ? Can they have a running game again? Nick Chubb is not the answer, right? You saw how big of a deal it is that they just don't have a running back in that game. And, the Rams knew they were going to have to beat him with their arm, and CJ just couldn't do it, right? Like, I think Christian Kirk missed the game. He's starting this kid Higgins, who's this rookie they drafted this year. And the plan of just doubling Collins and making CJ use these other guys, it worked. It totally worked in that game. So I think that's what the Bucs will do here. We're getting +3 now. Are we suckers? Are we squares here? Because it feels like we're being suckers here, because it's like, again, same type of game. You look at the splits here, all the tickets are on the Bucs, but the money is heavy on this side of Houston.
I like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
I just think they look at this where it's Houston in a primetime game at home in a spot of they can't lose. Like, they can't lose. They're going to be so much more desperate and hungry in this exact spot in front of their fans, where this historically feels like the type of games Baker and Tampa, they do lose, right? Emotional road win against a divisional foe in Atlanta. Now you're on the road again in a spot where, they're always going to be desperate. We've seen that playing style from Baker. He's just so scrappy. He can play dead for 3 quarters and just kill you in the 4th quarter. But I think we're on the same page. Like, matchup wise, I can't believe this number's up to 3 now. It's like, I have this at 2. It's 3. Obviously, I think there's value on the Bucs. I'm just waiting to be patient because I know I'm going to talk to more pros about this. I just can't believe they think so highly of this Houston's defense that way, that they just totally think they're going to shut down this Bucs offense. And even if, CJ can't score more than 1 or 2 touchdowns, that's going to be enough to win this game, because that's honestly what they're saying back on their side.
All right, last game, Monday Night Football. We'll definitely discuss that one again on Thursday. We'll get some calls about it, I'm sure. Chargers at Las Vegas Raiders. It had been at 3.5 Sunday night. I leaned toward Vegas because of the hook, because it's the hook that brings you back. Shout out Blues Traveler. Now the line is 3 at Hard Rock, so someone's taken the hook. Brock Bowers. I'm mixing up San Antonio Spurs ex-players and Las Vegas Raiders tight ends. Brock Bowers said yesterday he was fine. I was just grabbing the hook. That feels like the sharp side to me. Not a strong opinion if this game is at 3.
Agree. Don't force it, people. There's 3.5s out there. Go grab it. Like Hard Rock, even in Jersey, the 3.5 is gone. So doesn't matter what state you're in Hard Rock, that 3 is going to be where they're at. So we're on the same page. Like I like the Raiders, but going back and watching that Chargers game, I don't know if it is the Madison Beer effect, but the confidence and swagger that Herbert had, my God. Like that was everything we've been waiting to see, right? Like, because they put the stat up. The reason I'm a Herbert hater is because he had 11 straight games where he lost when the total points were under 3. So if he's down by 3, he had lost 11 straight games in that exact scenario. So to me, him stepping up big in that fourth quarter, just totally alternating my brain with him right now, where it's like, even at this number at 3, I'm like, man, that's a Chargers line here. Like, to me, they're pretty good. Like, they're looking like if they can put it together like they did against that Chiefs team, they're going to be a team that, potentially will win this division, because it's at the end of the day, it's all on Herbert. People can make excuses, be like, he didn't have weapons. Oh my God, the defense, the coaching. I agree with all of it, but you see the talent level of Herbert. There's a reason these people who, even though he's never done anything in his entire career, make him a top 5 quarterback. Like the raw talent, the athleticism, it is all there. So if he's clicking, we got no prayer. We have no prayer for this Vegas team if he is clicking like he was against that Chiefs team, because, I get our love for this Raiders team. They beat Drake May. Like like their secondary, that's their biggest weakness. It wasn't truly tested, right? Stephon Diggs did impress them. Like Glad McConkey, he's from a different planet compared to Stephon Diggs at this point in his career. So I'm glad we're not forcing this one in. 3.5. That was staring at me. I think the same thing as you on Sunday night, where it's like, that is really good value on this Raiders team. And it was all about Bowers. If Bowers is good to go, that makes it even better of a number. But at 3, 2.5, I am leaning towards the Chargers time. I literally have this number at 3. So at 3, I won't force it, but I do like Chargers at 3 minus 2.5. But at 3.5, if I got to make a play on it, to me, that's the value. That's that Raiders number.
All right. I don't think I skipped any games. I got them all. We got a list to review, really fascinating list, some numbers that we're just waiting to see how they move before we can make a decision about, are we going further into the conversation with betting? How do they shape up for our contest? Chad loves love is Seattle +3. Simon says is Minnesota -4.5. This has been Sharper Square, part of the Volume Podcast Network. We are presented by Hard Rock Bet. We'll be back on Thursday with the games we are zeroing in on, plus our Survivor picks, our head-to-head battle, our brass balls, so much more. Watch or listen on YouTube at Sharper Square. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. Also, download from Spotify, Apple Pod, wherever you get your pods. Subscribe, rate, review. Feedback is always a gift. Don't forget, we are collecting all the reviews in these early weeks, and we will start reading some of them on the show. The winner of the contest that we find to be the funniest, the one that makes us laugh, the one that most represents how you connect with the show, it's completely subjective. You're going to get some premium swag. Until next time, love you.